Take me to work. Alright, so today, I've been just kind of going and trying to keep up with everything I've been doing with the AI, with the Claude. I've got our whole business all ingrained in this, AI system that I kind of created. And now I've kind of got it stretched out. I've got 2 computers. I've kind of got the legal stuff and, contracts and that sort of stuff on one computer. And then on the other one, it's marketing and websites, mostly marketing. And then my son has been working on like sales, like a SOP for sales reps and training to get new sales reps started. I don't know what else. He sent me the copy, so I'm going to read them today. But it's interesting. I got an article or a email, some AI email that said that Brian Kelly, who's a coach who coached college and then he coached professional. Now I think he's back coaching college. Hired a AI specialist for his team, and he consults AI, Claude specifically, on a daily basis. So it just goes to show you, this is, you either adapt or you get left behind. And here's where I see what's happening. Humans are limited. Like, for instance, our one legal case has been going on for 5 years. It is complicated. There are so many different charges and pieces of evidence and, documents and deposition and all kinds of things that a normal person would have a really hard time keeping track of. But you put it all in a folder and then you point the AI at it and you have it review it, and it could go through it all in like every document that were 5 years, pleadings, everything. It could go through it in literally 5 minutes almost. And then it'll come back and say, oh, this, that, and the other thing. So it not only can review and look at data so fast, it can analyze it and then come back with a conclusion. And it's like anything. And my thing is getting it to do everything I want it to do, which is everything. Developing systems that, the recurring stuff is pretty easy to set up because you can do what's called the loop, or, even the Claude app has like a schedule task feature. But, getting it to think, and the agentic agent type things like Hermes and OpenClaw was the big one that everyone jumped on right away and it's kind of faded away. Those are pretty neat because they started to have where the AI would start to do things. It would actually come up with new ideas and act on the new ideas. Excuse me. And literally, it would take things a step further and ask you what you wanted it to do, or should it go this way or that way. Whereas these other ones, you pretty much have to prompt it, or you have to put a skill in place, or whatever. Though they will give suggestions about, what they should do next, but it's not like they're going to. You can't give it a goal like, go start this business and blah, 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 like an agent, like it seemed like the agent could do. The agentic agent system. But the big problem with those is these AI companies, they don't let you use your subscription on those agentic agents because you'll use it up. And so they force you to use the API usage, which is basically any calculation, any action the thing takes. Basically, is like a meter that runs, and they charge you for the whatever usage you have. And it adds up quick. I mean, I remember I did try the OpenClaw. I had it on there. I connected it to the Anthropic API. I was using, I think at the time it was Sonnet 4.8 or whatever the highest Sonnet was at the time. And it was running up, $25 to $50 a day. And I wasn't even running that much. It was like the background things that were going on. It had what is called a heartbeat, where it would like analyze what was going on like every hour. And you could set that differently, but the one I was using was just set for an hour. And it just was racking up, the usage. And I can't imagine now if you tried to use Opus 4.8 or, Fable 5, you'd probably be looking at a couple $100 a day. And, maybe still cheaper than an employee, but I don't know. So I'm just kind of working in systems. I'm not totally out of it on everything. I do some stuff where I prove things. Like, for example, we're doing an AdWords campaign for a certain brand of product that we sell. It's very targeted. It's very, very high intent, because somebody who's searching for that product is going to, be interested in that ad. So I've originally had set it up. It's actually got access into Google. It set the whole thing up. I'd never even went into the Google AdWords, portal, because I didn't give it a huge budget. I was just like, let's test this out. First day, it actually generated a lead, which was amazing. Well, then it's run probably another week, and it hasn't generated any more leads, or at least that we've been able to tell. Sometimes people will see the ad, click the ad, and then call, and that it's kind of getting missed in our system. So I'm trying to improve those things. But anyways, as we work on it. But the point was, it set up this campaign and was running, and then we let it run for a week, and then it came back with I had to analyze the campaign, see how it was going, and it said, oh well, we're getting clicks for things that we don't really want, like DIY and different things. We need to add these negative keywords. And I'm like, what? You set this up, why wouldn't you add the negative keywords in? It's like, oh, sorry, that was my mistake, blah, blah, blah. And then it came up with these negative keywords, it reapplied it. And then it also analyzed one of the, kind of the AdWords, I'm trying to think of what the word is. They've got, it's like a grouping of the keywords that are pretty similar. And it's actually a comparison between, the type of company we are, and then like the national brand. The brand actually has their own company that installs this product, but there is a difference if you hire, a higher end contractor. But anyways, so it took all those out, made it its own group, and then it redid, made another landing page and pointed that group towards that landing page, which is going to be way more relevant. So when somebody searches what's the difference or whatever, they can click on our ad and come to a page that's going to explain the differences, and it's going to explain why you want to use, the type of contractor we are. So, improvement, I hope. But, that's something I worked on this morning. Worked on some legal stuff. You know, I was hoping, of all hope, that the guy we're in this lawsuit with was going to basically come to his senses and just be done with this thing. But pride is a very strong thing. And, you know, he basically has been bragging for 5 years now how he's going to destroy me, destroy my company, and he was going to get this huge payday. At one point he was even like, well, maybe I'll just take his house, maybe I'll just have him sign his house over. Or like our pizza restaurant, he actually knows somebody that works there, and he's telling them that, oh, I'm going to be your boss. Just stupid things that make no sense, and just shows you the mentality of this guy and really the level of sophistication. But yeah, the truth is our legal strategy has flipped everything on its head, and now, if anything, worst case scenario looks like a 50-50, and best case, you know, maybe 75-25 in our favor. So it's like, you know, the walk away is tough. I just know that I'm tired of it. I'm tired of dealing with this guy. I'm tired of hearing this guy's name. I'm tired of thinking about him. It's just like, just get it over with, dude. So their suggestion is to go to this mediation, but I've done 3 mediations, and they're horrible. And, you know, the first one was an insurance situation. I own a commercial building, and it had damage, and it was this down and ugly negotiation, literally. And this was during COVID, so it was by Zoom. So we were sitting in the conference room at our office. The insurance company had 2 lawyers, I think, or 3 lawyers or whatever. They were in their office on Zoom, and then this retired judge would pop back and forth. And, you know, they always start out the same way. I pride myself in closing these cases out and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, they always say the same thing. You know, a good negotiation is where no one's happy at the end. So realize that. You know, it's like, yeah, well, I'm already unhappy. Because it was kind of BS. It was an insurance claim that I'd made. They were trying to not pay it, underpay it. So I hired an attorney who was getting 30 or 35% of the claim on top of it. Plus, you know, we were looking for a big number, and they came in at the super low number. And literally for 8 hours, back and forth, you know, and they wouldn't come down on their number. And so it's like, it's frustrating. It's just, you know. So I know exactly what'll happen if we do this mediation. And it's just not something that I think's worth doing. Now, my attorney thinks we should do it. I think he's kind of leaning that way. But I don't know. I just know what's going to happen. I mean, we're going to be at this huge number. He's going to be at a huge number. And I don't even want to come down on our number, to be honest with you, because I just, like, whatever. You're going to make us do this, then you're going to pay. The whole thing is like, the chances, right now we have a walkaway offer on the table. Just everyone walks away, we're done. You know, we go to this mediation, we're going to start out with, you're going to write us a check. And, you know, there's no way he's going to go past 0 and write a check. No matter what some retired judge tells him, you know, if he looks at the case and is like, dude, you're going to lose, he could probably scream in the guy's face, you're going to lose. There's no way you're going to win this thing. And, you know, that dude is going to just he's like I said, he's been bragging about this payday. He's the type of little ego. He's got this little ego. He's got a big ego, but a little brain. And he's just really just, I'm going to use a nice word. He's just a fool. He's just a clown and a fool. And he's not very bright. Anyways, back to the AI. Like I said, like massive amounts of information that you want to keep track of, you could put them in a folder and that thing will review it and go through it. Pages and pages and pages of documents it will read and analyze and summarize and get out the information. There was this huge email that I got, and I'd read it one time and I'm just like had a headache because it was just like, oh my god. So feed it into Claude, boom, 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 it takes it, grabs all the important things that's relevant to what I needed, and it was done. Contracts. I mean, we have another situation where, not a good customer. An issue with them paying us. And so, there's processes that contractors can do to get paid. Liens and foreclosing on liens and that sort of thing. So, hire an attorney. It's a friend of my dad's. He's an old guy. He's been a lawyer forever. Been in the county forever. I knew he's not the best attorney, but maybe he could do this type of thing. And they're working on the paperwork, the suit, whatever it was. I feed it into Claude, and Claude did not have good things to say about it. Claude loves my attorney for this other case. I'll come up with ideas. We'll research it. We'll come up with the stuff. We'll even come up with like the documents that need to be filed, summaries, all this stuff, and I'll send it over to this attorney, and he'll review it and he'll send back notes, and Claude will be like, oh, he's right. Oh, yeah. Oh. Or I'll send the attorney, the form that needs to be filed, and he always looks it over, make sure all the citations are correct, everything's in line, and then he'll file it, or he'll send it back to me and have it run through one more time, and then Claude will be like, oh, it's an excellent job, everything's great, I really like this edition. So he really likes that attorney. Fed him this one, and he's just like, arr. And in this other case too, the opposing attorney filed something, and it had like misspellings in it. It misspelled the name of my company in the title of the, so-and-so versus so-and-so. It misspelled names. I'm just like, that's crazy. That just shows you that they're not checking their own stuff with AI to make sure they're not making mistakes, which I do not understand. I mean, it's insane. But maybe I just have my finger on the pulse a little bit better of this AI stuff. I don't know. But, you hear these guys and they say you're either going to get left behind, or you learn how to use this as a tool to your advantage. And, I just wish there was more I could do with it. I started like this little separate side business based on a suggestion from Claude, based on some YouTube videos that who knows, but it's an experiment. It took me literally like an hour to set up. And hey, if it makes a couple bucks, it makes a couple bucks. Might make it big. So there's a proven market for this product. It's going through a website that basically, takes care of the payments and delivery and all that stuff with the product. It's a digital product, so it's all basically profit. Well, we'll see. I'll tell you one thing though, this smoke is horrible. Right now, we're getting inundated with smoke from Canadian wildfires. And it's like, you could visibly see the smoke, you can smell it, and I'm telling you right now, I can feel it, like it's affecting my breathing. It's like, Jesus, Canada, do better. Put these fires out. Take care of your parks or forests, because it's ridiculous. This is like many years in a row this has happened, and I don't remember any time before this ever happening. So A, it's suspicious, B, it's annoying, and they really need to do something about it because it's bad. And we're literally a 10-hour drive probably to the Canadian border. Anyhow, that's all I got for today. I will see you later.